I want to thank you, viewer, for watching my video and watching other YouTube creators' videos about the Acolyte instead of wasting your time and money on Disney and Disney+. They don't need your viewership. Don't give them your money. You're only supporting the downfall of your childhood, the downfall of a series that you grew up to love, and characters that you grew up admiring and respecting. Because in this series, they're absolutely bashing everything that is Star Wars, everything that we've grown to love and adore about Star Wars. This show is the antithesis of such. Before I get into this episode synopsis and my take, some interesting tidbits about some really odd lore changes that were made in this episode, make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss the next episode, because I'm going to be watching the entire series and I want you to join me along the ride. The certifiably diverse Jedi team are sent back to Coruscant, where Jeki and Osha share uninspired dialogue, with absolutely no chemistry as always. Osha plans on leaving the Jedi group and says her goodbyes. A few rooms away, a group of Jedi convenes, led by the brilliantly excellent Green Lunch Lady, Master Vernestra. Is it just me, or does this lady feel completely and utterly out of place? Whether it is her stale dialogue, her inability to command a room, or her lackluster character design, I am not convinced that she is a noble leader of the Jedi Order. I mean, look back at the noble leaders, the powerful, the strong-spirited, and the commanding generals of the Jedi Order. We got Mace Windu, we got Master Balaba even, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, we have Qui-Gon Jinn, Yoda. There's just too many great names to list, and we have Master Vernestra. There's just something about her that does not scream competent Jedi Master. However, in this scene, we get a good look at the several new Jedi faces, and you can't help to notice to see an old one as well. Ki Adi Mundi is in the room. Yes, you're probably confused and asked yourself, how could he possibly be alive, knowing that he was 70 years old in the prequels, and this series takes place 100 years before The Phantom Menace? Well, Disney didn't think the history that goes back decades mattered, so don't think much about it. Leslie Headland thought you wouldn't notice.
Yes.
Anyways, after reviewing footage of May's mischievous actions, the Jedi determined that she has been trained by a fallen Jedi or from another splinter order. Deciding not to alert the Jedi Council of this predicament, the Green Lunch Lady sends Sol and a team of Jedi Knights to intercept her before she kills Master Kelnaka, the Wookiee Jedi. What really pisses me off is that Sol is undoubtedly blunt, suggesting that May is not a threat. Somehow, an abundance of evidence that proves that she murdered both Master Indara and Master Torben does not equate to a security threat. I can understand how he could have compassion for her. He knew her, well, I guess he sort of knew her. He didn't really know her. He knew Osha pretty well. He didn't know May, and that he has some compassion that it's Osha's sister, that he tried to save May when in the last episode, you know, a while back in time, but he didn't have that opportunity. But he should absolutely consider her to be a threat. She killed two of his good friends, and that's just absolutely unacceptable. Shifting our perspective, we see May and the new and improved Ezra Miller reach Kofar and travel together in search of the Wookiee Jedi. While searching through the brush of the jungle, the two begin to discuss their intentions regarding the relationship with their master, and May states that she struggles to kill the Jedi in the ways her master wishes. She clearly addresses her devotion to accomplishing the task set out to her, regardless of her struggles to do so. Yet out of literally nowhere, a switch flips in her head that 360s everything she so fervently believed in.
I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to keep this deal. What?
With a new plan devised, she traps the newly improved Ezra Miller and spells out the nitty-gritty details.
My loyalty's to Osha, not your master. Surrender myself to Kelnaka, and then turn myself into the Jedi.
No. Never before have I ever seen a TV series, a movie, a play, or any sort of media completely contradict itself within seconds, inexplicably. She out of nowhere changes her mind on the dime. This girl has been interested in becoming a witch her whole life. She's definitely not been like everybody else. She's definitely more so tuned to the dark side, being a dark side user, and out of nowhere, everything switches for no apparent reason. And she gives this new plan where she wants to turn herself in and do the right thing, but there was no motive to do so. At this time, on the other side of Kofar, the Jedi team has arrived and are led to Kelnaka by the guide of a tracker alien weasel who successfully located May in Kelnaka's residence. When May had finally arrived at Kelnaka's shed, she noticed his dead body sitting morbidly with a lightsaber slash in his chest, suggesting that her master was there. As the Jedi approached the deceased Jedi's hut, they were caught by surprise when the smiley Kylo Ren spoof floated towards them. Thus ending the 4th episode of The Acolyte. What a pleasure that this is over with. This episode is mostly inoffensive. I don't think we see, this is certainly not earth-shattering like the last episode was, where it's literally dividing the fan base yet again. It's like the next Last Jedi, of course. We all know that to be true. I don't want to keep ringing that bell. This is just a boring next installment to keep us busy. We see a lot of the Jedi just moving to and from. We get a lot of relationship building between Osha and Jeki, two of my least favorite characters in the series, next to the Green Lunch Lady. Those three are my least favorites. And then we get a weird relationship between May and the Ezra Miller looking guy, who will inevitably, most likely, end up being the Sith character that is revealed at the end of the episode. It's only convenient. He's around at the time. He's trapped. May's on her own. It's only convenient that he is this Sith character, the master of May. However, that might be what Leslie Headland wants us to think, and it will actually be a twist that it was actually it was Mother Onasea or the other Mother Lady that is this Sith character all along. I think it's more likely to be that. I specifically think that because we see a weird standoff between the Sith Master character with Osha when the Sith character approaches the Jedi at the end of the episode, and they both just kind of look at each other, and it seemed like they had some sort of connection. And Osha obviously doesn't have a connection with the guy that looks like Ezra Miller at all, so I think it's likely that it's going to be somebody tied to her past, unlike it being what would be kind of the obvious choice. With all that being said, this episode still sucks. It's still doing terrible. The show is at an abysmal rating of 14% right now on Rotten Tomatoes and the audience score. Good job, fans, for giving it that, because it deserves it every bit, and I'm glad fans are starting to strike back against the tyranny of Disney. I'd like to conclude by thanking you. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate your viewership, and if you liked what you saw, if you want to follow me along with continuing to watch the series and discuss it with me, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm a newer channel. I mostly do movie reviews, but I thought I would talk about these episodes because I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars. I was a big fan of the Clone Wars. That was really something I enjoyed watching growing up, was the Clone Wars. I know a lot of people have a problem with Dave Filoni, but I think if we look back at his older work with the Clone Wars, we can really grow to love a lot of the work he did through that series. And I certainly know I learned a lot of great values, and I followed some great stories through that series. So if you want to kind of discover him a little better, watch that show, because it's certainly a hidden gem that all Star Wars fans should watch at some point in their life. So thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments below. I'll see you next time.